for the opportunity to speak before you on my private member's bill C-377, requiring public financial disclosure by labor organizations. My bill does not tell unions how to spend their money or restrict them in any way. It only requires transparency so that the public can see how that money was spent. Over the last several months, I have listened carefully to the concerns raised by MPs from all parties, as well as interested groups and individuals, and it's clear to me that some modest amendments are necessary to improve the bill.
L'impression que j'ai de votre projet de loi, c'est qu'il est au départ mal ficelé, qu'il y a des problèmes fondamentaux. On serait à l'école et je retournerais la copie à l'élève en lui disant c'est brouillon et il y a beaucoup de choses auxquelles vous avez pas pensé. C'est un projet de loi qui contient en lui-même un potentiel de dommages collatéral très important.
Who's asking for this? There are no union members chafing in chains saying, give us the disclosure the union won't give us. The only people asking for this are the Merit Contractors and Labour Watch, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, a group of interrelated, non-union supportive employers.
Okay.
We have members on our executives that represent corporate interests, that represent pension funds, and having looked at the bill, the CBA submission is that the bill should not be passed into law due to a number of concerns which are set out more fully in our written submissions.
Thank you, Chair. We're deeply concerned about this private members bill and the many disturbing provisions, so concerned that we think this legislation should be withdrawn. I briefly touch on some of our objections, all of which are detailed in our submission to the committee. We strongly believe that Mr. Hebert's unnecessary bill will create more bureaucratic red tape that will be very expensive for our government, pension plans, investment managers, health and benefit plans, and labor organizations to administer. It will significantly intrude on the privacy of a large number of our members, as well as many other individuals who are not union members and their families.
I believe very strongly in union transparency and accountability, but what we have seen in the US, particularly under the last Bush administration that introduced the detailed financial reporting that this bill is based upon, was not real transparency. What it was an attempt to politicize regulatory enforcement in the name of transparency. Second, the costs of these new regulations, contrary to what has been stated before, for both government and for unions, I think there's absolutely incontrovertible evidence that the costs are very substantial, and I will come back to that point. And third and finally, I think there's no evidence whatsoever that these detailed financial statements have provided any useful service to ordinary union members. I think the only groups that have used them were the very groups that were pushing for them in the first place, and those have been groups that have a political agenda to weaken unions and to use this information, albeit often in a misleading and distorted way.